Hi everyone, this is Vanessa on ratn'nark, and I'm going to be spilling some juicy secrets. Stay tuned. Okay, so the story I'm going to be telling is a series of twisted events. Stay with me here. Okay, so it starts with me, location South Africa, Johannesburg. So I was studying aviation to be a, female pilot, blah, blah, blah. And everything was all cool and that. And then I met a taxi driver from Zimbabwe, and he was like, oh, anytime you need a ride, I'm like half Malawian, so, we should stick together, and I can take you places, and you can pay me after and stuff. We're your brother and sister. It's like, okay, cool, great. So his name was Peter. Okay, I'm gonna put fictional names because I don't want to get in trouble. So we'll call him Peter. So Peter was cool. He was my homeboy. He had a mukaba, that's what they call beer bellies in South Africa. But he was a cool guy. So I was chilling in the student house of the flight school that I lived in. And then my friend, we'll call her Zoe, she calls me and she's like, oh, I'm in South Africa for a week. Can we meet up tonight? This is my last weekend and I want to see you. I was like, okay, cool. So there was this place called Monte Casino, and it had like there was a casino there, of course. It had bars, restaurants, and all that. So we decided to go there. Now I'm like, okay, I'm broke right now. Like literally have probably like 20 rands to my name, and that's like barely anything. She's like, don't worry, I'll cover the transport, food, alcohol. Let's go have fun, girl. Let's go. I'm like, okay, cool. So I call an Uber, and then because Peter was busy. So I call an Uber and she's like, she'll pay for it when I get there. So I get in, I'm all excited. The Uber guy and I are bonding. We're playing those piano jams and we're there like, And then we get there and she's like, okay, my cousin said she's gonna sort you out, so let's look for my cousin. She gets her cousin. Her cousin goes to the ATM. Turns out her dad blocked her card because she overspent with Zoe, her cousin. So he's like, no. And then now I'm stuck, no money, card blocked. So her cousin's like, oh shit, more bad news. My dad's on his way to pick us up. So I just got there and they're getting picked up and I have no money. So I'm like, what's gonna happen? She's like, I'm gonna ask my dad, but I don't know. So I'm like, okay, ask your dad. He gets there, she asks him, and he's like, no, I'm not paying for anything. That wasn't my plan. It's like, okay, cool. So I call Peter, I'm like, remember when you said I could call you anytime, homie? This is that time. So he comes through, like Zoe and her cousin leave me at Monte Casino. I'm just standing there outside like a hobo. And people are passing me, they can see something's wrong, and I'm just there like, yeah. But so I'm just stuck there, and Peter comes through, he gets me, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Chomi. And I'm like, no, it's fine, I'm all right. It's like, let me take you home. Now this guy starts using a long route, and I'm like, okay, this is not usually the way home, but hey, he knows South African more than I do, so it's fine. And then we keep going, and then like halfway through the trip, his hand just keeps, sliding onto my thigh somehow, and I'm like, Peter, what are you doing? And he's like, relax, Chomi, relax. And he's like stroking my thigh, and I'm like, no. And then a few minutes later again, I'm like, stop it. So I smack his hand, and he's like, you don't have to be so uptight. I mean, I'm your homie. And I was like, yeah, homie, not like that. And he's like, come on. And he puts my hand on his like big mukaba, like I said. So he's like, I'm like, no, just take me home. So all right, we'll just pass by somewhere real quick, I promise. Meet up with my friend. I'm like, okay. He's like, well, since you don't have money, you have to go where I'm taking you. And I'm like, damn, what did I just get myself into? So we get to this place, and his friend, let's call him what? Let's call him Pan. Peter Pan, I don't know. Pan is there waiting, and now we go into this bar, they're getting drunk, and I'm just sitting there thinking, how am I gonna get home? I'm calling everybody I know, and they're all just like drunk too, because it's a Friday night. And eventually this man takes me to some weird lodge place. He's like, he wants to meet somebody or something like that. And I'm like, okay, but we get there, and he's like, just go wait in that room. I get to that room, he comes and he's like, let me use the bathroom. Goes into the bathroom, and this man comes out of the bathroom, butt naked, big ass stomach hanging and everything. And I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, come on, like, this is how you can pay me. And I'm like, no, I want to go home. So I run to the door, and it's locked. And I'm like, dude, put your clothes on, let's go. And then he's all pissed and shit. He's like, well, now I'm too drunk to drive you home, so you're gonna have to wait. And then I just like slept on the couch, and like the couch in the lobby, and he slept in the room. And yeah, he woke up and he drove me home. And oh, on the way home, we stopped at an ATM. He gave me his card, and he was like, please withdraw 200 rands. I withdrew 500. I put 300 in my bra, and I was like, you deserve it for trying to do things with me. I gave him his 200, and then the next day he was like, I think I might have overspent. There's some money I can't recall using. And I was like, oh, sorry. But yeah, I paid my bills, and that was it. So shout out to Peter Pan. Yeah. That's my story.
So how's your day now?
It's alright.
What do you do?
I woke up, went to pay my dad board, and then what did I do next? I cleaned the house, called my mom to say Happy Mother's Day.
Like, I didn't know how to speak English at all.
You know, I love gambling a lot. My dad gave me some money for school fee.
And then at this moment, I'm signaling for the driver to stop driving. And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not in the car. Like, I'm at her house. I'm like, oh my God.
200, 300 naira, 400 naira.
If the cops catch you at the club, they don't care who you are, what age you are. Everybody has to get taken to the police station.